Hey, everybody in the Arrows Edge community. Welcome. Excited to just step out with our weekly training where we really talk about how we can really get fully into our God given identity so we can do life intentionally and fulfill that God given purpose and destiny. Listen, one of the things that I've been coming up against, one of the things I've been hearing a lot from my clients and from you guys out there in the group in general is about money, finances, money, all the time. And so I really wanted to bring on this special guest. Kelly Marshall is owner of Terra Care Financial. She's also my bookkeeper. The way I found her is I realized I needed somebody to help me take care of me and my business. And so ran into her. And I tell you what, I have an accountant for the church and I have a bookkeeper for my business. And I, honest to goodness, think the bookkeeper aspect is just plain powerful. And it really draws out the promise of your business. And it really, oh my goodness, I can't even say enough about it. So I really wanted to bring Kelly on here to talk to us because we know in this group we talk about mindsets because mindset is half of our issue and maybe even more than half of our issue as far as stepping fully into that identity as sons and daughters of God. And so I wanted to just ask you, Kelly, hey, first of all, what's the thing that got you into money mindset?
Yeah. Thank you for having me and thank you for welcoming me into this community. I'm really happy to be here. I'm trying to look at my camera, but also wanting to look at Rebecca. So you might see my eyes pop around a little bit. I have a very practical background with money. I'm maybe a little weird. In seventh grade, I knew I wanted to be an accountant. I don't even know why, but I did. And I followed that through school, went to college, started a corporate career. And when I was working on this version of my business, I've had a bookkeeping business since 2004, but it's really in the last 4 years I've taken it full time and with the people I want to work with, which is conscious entrepreneurs, purpose driven entrepreneurs. And when I started working with them and using some of my very practical tools that I had, we kept bumping into mindset issues, money issues. And as I built my own business, I was bumping into them. I didn't know that term yet. I didn't know that was what was going on, but I was struggling with how to price my services. I was struggling with who I was in this business, stepping out of being, a really strong second to somebody else, like helping them build their business and build my own thing. So all this stuff was coming up, and it was in training programs that I was in with coaches at first that I heard this money mindset term, and then I latched onto it and knew that that was a thing that was going on for my people. So I went and got certified in a few different programs to support people with it. And I really think it's key, to be in the position, this trusted advisor position that a bookkeeper or an accountant is, and to be in that intimate connection with that business and not be able to support them properly, that business owner, when stuff comes up, felt like a disservice to me. So I added money mindset into what I support my business owners with. And it comes up all the time. It comes up in their behaviors. It comes up in decision making. It comes up in hitting a ceiling and leveling up. It comes up even if they're going to go make this investment in themselves and their business. It's scary. And so even on a sales call, money stuff comes up. And so if I can help support them and help them work through what that is, because the thing that we think has come up on the surface, like whatever, oh, I can't afford that, or, it's not, I feel selfish to invest in myself in that way. That feels like you can rationalize that decision, but what's under there might be fear, or it might be a money story from your, a childhood, or it might be identity. It might be, who am I? It might be confidence. And all of those things are tied to your mindset. And yeah. So does that answer your question?
Yes, and you
Yeah.
so are speaking my language because I tell you
Yeah.
what, that's something I work with in my coaching program, and as part of the pie as well
Yeah.
is these money mindsets. Sometimes we call it poverty mindset or lack mentality
Yeah.
that really actually is stopping us. And I tell you what, our inability to see the value on investing in ourselves so that we can actually produce that fruit that will go on and on and on. It affects our entire life. So if I make this decision to invest in myself right now, break off these mindsets, get the support I need, then it'll affect the rest of my life. I'll probably have, I don't know, 50, 60 more years on this planet. And all of these things going forward will change my life. And so we're all about life change here. And I know you've experienced life change and you yourself are changing my life. If you need a bookkeeper, please see Kelly. Kelly, make sure you put
Thank
your
you.
information in the comments after, because she has absolutely wowed me with her service and her time and her heart that's actually invested. I know some of you out there, entrepreneurs, you want you want Kelly. Trust me. So, what we're going to talk about today going forward is that you have this thing about 6 elements of money mindset. I
Yeah.
personally would love to hear more. Would you be willing to just kind of go through that with us and dive in? I'm really excited to hear about this.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we hear that term thrown around, right? Money mindset. Not everybody knows what that means. Maybe for some of you, it's the first time you've heard it, or you've heard it, but you just vaguely have an idea of what it means. So I love to break it down into 6 elements. And so and they kind of are chronologically in order. And the top one is identity. So my world being business owners, a lot of these are going to be in that light, but you can extrapolate that over different identities. But if we think of an identity as a business owner, um, if you've got that poverty mindset, if you've got the one I'm thinking of is starving artist, and I know that's not necessarily appropriate for this community, but there are mindsets like that, the poverty mindset of somebody that's doing mission work, purpose-driven work. They believe that they have to sacrifice to do that, that there's sometimes an identity of um, not wanting to grow too fast or too far and outgrow your community, or not wanting to ever have that impression that you're being greedy, right? And so you take on this poverty mindset or the identity, and you hold yourself there, and you're limiting yourself there. And the truth is, from a purpose driven, I'm going to speak to that, that's coming up intuitively a little bit. From a purpose driven place, if we've decided that there's a greed associated with money, and we're going to keep ourselves to this position, we're really limiting who we can help. If we decide to hold ourselves here, versus if we allow ourselves to expand into a larger identity, can have money flowing in, then therefore we can decide what to do with that money and who we're impacting with that money. And so there's an ability to shift into that identity of somebody who does good things with their money, who does have money coming into their lives that they can then therefore bless others with. And so if we think of this from a business owner perspective, and we think of somebody who's got the identity of somebody that makes $25,000 a year versus somebody that has the identity of making $100,000 a year, there's different decisions that they're going to make at those two different levels. There's different offers there's going to make. There's different ways they're serving people. There's different abilities of who they can bring in to provide money to through employment. There's just all kinds of different things that flow through those two identities. But it starts with the identity. If you secretly want to be that 6-figure person, but you're holding yourself as an identity of the $25,000 person, how do you get to that 6-figure level? So that identity, taking that on and kind of practicing that of what you're building, like really having, that's where like you hear about vision work. It starts with identity. It's beginning to believe that you have that you can have that you can be that person, and then holding yourself in that identity every day so that your beliefs are starting to become part of that identity, so that your decisions are related to that identity, your actions, and then therefore your results. So it really all flows down from that identity first. That makes sense?
Oh, Kelly, that's awesome. One thing I want to highlight is I teach this is that money is a neutral. Money is actually not good and it's not evil. Money is just an exposer of the heart. And so you can tell a lot by your perspective and the way you spend money
Yeah.
about what's going on in your heart. So I agree with you because that's something I really had to overcome as a minister. I really had the mindset of I serve everybody everywhere and I let my family not be provided for because I didn't think that I could have an income as a minister, and I really had to bust that off myself. So that was a really big breakthrough for me. So I 100% agree. Thank you. Absolutely.
I love that. And you also get into kind of my personal purpose is helping people with that identity, because I so believe that good people do good things with their money, and therefore we can change the world. And unfortunately, or fortunately, money is a part of that, and so I really love that you have broken that mold for yourself and are helping others do that, because it's going to make a difference when people are voting with their money and helping people with their money, and it's money in the hands of good people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Sorry, that's my little soapbox. Okay.
Love it. Love your soapbox.
Thank you. So the next one is beliefs. I hinted to that a little bit with identity, but it is beliefs about money. It is money is the root of all evil. If somebody has that belief, I have to work really hard to make good money, or people that are wealthy are selfish, those types of beliefs that are rolling around in our head that could come from our experiences, our childhood, our culture, they're the next layer. So if you're working on that, you're rocking that identity that you see in your vision for yourself, if you're really stepping into that, but you've got some of these beliefs that are there underlying that, they can sabotage what you want. And so it's really becoming aware of what's popping up. I'll see this, like that work hard for money is one that comes up a lot in our culture. And you'll see somebody that maybe they're resisting that. They want to make sure they have time for their family. They want to make sure they have time for the things that are important. And so they have a fear around building their business because they're linking that to that. It's going to take all my capacity and I really have to work hard. And so they've got to unwind that belief, whatever that for them, if it's that you have to work hard for your money, kind of unwind that and look for evidence of where there's different beliefs that can support them more, so that they're able to then go out and make the money, build the business they want to, or live the life that they want to. And so it's really looking at that. Like if you're somebody that it's got that like wealthy people are selfish kind of an idea, but you have a desire to have more money in your life, you could be sabotaging it because you're not a selfish person. You don't want to be selfish. So really unwinding that and thinking of like, wealthy people can be very generous. Wealthy people can make a real difference in people's lives. And I'm just picking that particular belief, but working on unwinding that so that you're not sabotaging that identity that you've chosen for yourself is the next layer. Does that make sense?
100%. 100%
Yeah.
agree. Yeah. Because, if you're having this mindset where wealthy people are like that, well, understand that all wealthy people, they always have an attitude of generosity. That's what makes them wealthy. Like
Mhm.
they're innately, it's a sowing and reaping in the spiritual world, but it's also like if you look at Robert Kiyosaki and those kind of like
Yeah.
really wealthy people, they are always incredibly generous because they actually know that principle.
Yeah.
And so that is a lie we're believing
Yeah. And
about.
it goes back to that, like you as a good person, like that money being a neutral,
Yep.
and it being in the hands of somebody that can do good things with it. We want that. We want you to be wealthy because you're going to do good things with your money, and I don't say that good with judgment. I just mean that you're doing generous things that align with your heart and your values. Yeah.
Absolutely. We have more we can do if we have the finances to back us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Cool.
Whew.
All right, third element is how we value our time, because that's going to impact how we're spending our time. So we can really get keyed into this. Like if this is one I work on all the time, because I can get into the little minutia of the data entry of bookkeeping. And I sometimes have to look at that. What is my identity? I'm building a business where I have a team that supports a lot of it. So I'm somebody that's really got to invest my time in developing them so that they can help me grow this business, and I can be spending more of my time making decisions about the business. And so when I get drilled down into that nitty gritty, the detail of it, and I'm spending oodles of time on that and I'm not growing it, I'm maybe hiding a little bit, then I'm not spending my time in alignment with my identity and who I want to become in this business and what I'm growing it to be. And so really getting clear about how we value our time and where we're spending it. And just looking at that can absolutely be an element of money mindset. That one's a little different maybe than you've heard in other ones. Is that one making sense, Rebecca?
Makes sense to me. Think
Yeah.
about this. Time is the one and only non-renewable asset. Our
Yeah.
time is of essential value, and doing it right, and using it. That's why I talk about identity, purpose, and
Yeah.
destiny, doing life intentionally. Because listen, we get so caught up in the day-to-day, fighting the fire that's in front of us, trying to, overcome whatever challenges surrounding us, and always battling the circumstances.
Yeah.
But if we get ahead of things and we're doing things intentionally, we have a vision for our life, and we've got mindsets that we're choosing to lead our life by,
Yeah.
core values, then we find that we have a lot less fires to fight, and our time is being used
Yeah.
in a more valuable, more efficient, more honorable way. And I tell you what, that is something that I had to work on as a extreme workaholic.
Yeah.
I was just letting things fail. And honestly, what you were saying about like getting on, like underneath into the little things, and it almost creates a way to hide.
Yeah.
Oh, that resonated with me because
Yeah.
I have been there so
Yeah.
much.
Oh, good.
And
Yeah.
it's
Well, and
so
me too. I
important
mean,
to
that,
step out in courage, you
yeah,
know?
that absolutely comes from my personal experience. And it is a way of hiding. Like when things get scary, as you're building this thing that maybe is pushing you out of your comfort zone, you just kind of want to crawl back into the things that are easy to hide in. And it's a way of playing small and avoiding some of that exposure, or whatever the thing is that's coming up for you. And it's those choices that are coming from a mindset. And part of that is value, which is how you're valuing your time, and part of your money mindset. Yeah. Cool.
Really.
The next one is recognizing the value of what you have to offer. So this is one too, like when I go into my bookkeeping world, bookkeeping is something that comes very easily to me, like untangling the web of numbers, and it's black and white and things all add up and it's just math. And so that is just a part of my skill set. It's an easy one for me. And I can super undervalue that.
That
And,
math makes me laugh right there.
yeah, right. But it's true. And so we have to get into the truth of that. Or even, some things that, like a lot of you that are purpose driven, this is probably something you've been supporting people with all your life. It's just part of your truth. It's part of your gifts that you have. And when we are working in our gifts, which is also where we can make the biggest impact in the world, we can undervalue it because it's what's easy for us. And so um, that is absolutely going to affect how you price things. It's absolutely going to affect how you show up in the world. It's absolutely going to affect your confidence. It's going to just trickle out into all the parts of your being in your life. And so really getting into the truth of that, really focusing on like, how are you impacting people's lives through that, really getting clear on the difference that you're making in the world and in the lives of the people that are important to you, or the lives of the people that you're touching in your work, can help you build that. And it's important to take the time to recognize that and allow that confidence to grow. We hear about imposter syndrome, like the who am I to do this work, or who am I to fill in the blank. And that comes from that undervaluing. And so if we can spend some time exploring the difference that you do make, and it can help build your confidence with that, then you walk into the world in a much different, again, mindset. It's a much different money mindset. You might, like I said, price things differently, or speak about your stuff more confidently, or it can totally shift the way that you handle if somebody's on a sales call, if they do consultations. And that's important too. Like that person that needs you needs to know you're there. And if you're hiding again and not feeling confident in the value you offer, they can't find you. So as part of that purpose driven part is really stepping into that value you offer and allowing yourself to be seen so that you can impact the people you want to and make the money that reflects that value.
That's why it's so important to be able to step into your God given destiny. I mean,
Yeah.
think about this. If you invest in yourself to work on the mindsets, to work on organizing your life, to get a vision for your life, all those things that you and I both work on, uh, man,
Intentionally. Yeah.
that's what helps you step into all that God has for you, all that you were meant to do, all that
Yeah.
you're created for. And when you do that, see, this is what I was thinking as you were speaking was, Kelly, you're saying math is easy and natural. And I'm like, see, you've stepped into your God given destiny. This is natural. You've got grace on it. It's easy for you. Whereas if I didn't have you in my life, my hair would not look yeah, because it's something that I don't like to do. It doesn't come naturally. I had to really dive in and learn how to do it to be able to manage and run different businesses that I've done in my life. And so for me, that's you stepping into your God given destiny, knowing who you are, knowing what you're created to do. And that impacts every single person that you touch.
Mm.
That's
And
valuable, right? That's like super valuable.
I fought it for a long time, and I'm sure a lot of people listening have too. It certainly didn't feel like the most fun thing to do, even though it was like the natural thing. And it was in embracing that and just recognizing, like, I have a skill set that really supports people,
You
and
do.
it's easy for me, and it's okay for me to get paid well for doing it. That's the game changer, and that's what I needed to do in order to build this and grow this in the way that I did. Yeah, yeah,
Me
cool.
too. That's my thing.
Yeah. So we have two more. The next one is just self-talk. And this, again, it flows from all the other things. Like, if you haven't taken on the identity, if you don't have beliefs that support that, if you don't value your time, if you don't value what you have to offer, you're not going to talk nicely to yourself about it. And even if you've kind of got some of those things handled, you can still find ways to speak negatively. Oh, I'm so stupid. I didn't do this thing. Or how could I forget that? Or, really talking to yourself with a lot of judgment and a lot of blame. And I find that that's maybe one of the biggest parts of my work is people come into me with a lot of judgment around this area, money in their life. And we can't change things from judgment. Nobody can. They've got to change things from forgiveness. They've got to change things from grace. You said grace before, and that's a word I love to use. And so it starts with your self-talk. Because if you're talking about yourself that way, it's going to impact, again, how you carry yourself in the world, and then how other people are going to perceive you. And so
Mhm.
really watching your self-talk and building awareness around it, and then revising that. Like, I'm so stupid. It's like, oh, I made a mistake, and like, how can I learn from this? Like, looking for the grace in those moments. Cause we're not perfect. We're all humans. And so there's things that you might want to judge yourself about. And it's just searching for the grace in that and the truth, and finding a way to be more gentle with yourself in that situation is going to trickle into all the other parts of your mindset and really support you in growing that.
Yeah, they say I can't remember it offhand the number, but it's over 80% of our thoughts are negative
Yeah.
typically. And so you
Yeah.
have to be really purposeful, intentional about changing the way you think.
Yeah.
So that's huge. And one thing I was even talking about in church this weekend is you have to value yourself to let love and kindness be the motivation in all you do with
Yeah.
you and allow yourself that grace to grow. Right?
Yeah.
Because nobody holds us back more than ourselves.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And if we're talking badly about ourselves, we can't get out from under it. It's like we're holding ourselves down all the time. And so the last one is really kind of ties into that, and it's your sense of self-worth.
Mm,
Do you feel worthy? Do you trust yourself? This is probably one of those areas, and I think I said this even before, but why bookkeeping, maybe I didn't say it in this way, but one of the reasons that bookkeeping really helps people in their businesses specifically is it starts to build a self-trust. If they, and yes, there's a tool that's helping them or another person that's maybe helping them with that, but because that part's taken care of, they can begin to trust themselves to build other things. So that's just one example. But whether looking at opportunity, looking to see if you feel worthy, or if stuff that kind of that who am I comes up again, or I don't deserve this, or how am I ever going to handle, the building this business, or whatever it is that's coming up. Or maybe it's even in your identity within a family, and maybe you're managing the finances for a family, and building your self trust and really giving yourself tools to track it and to support yourself with it can help you build your self worth. And in building your self worth, you can feel more worthy. And in feeling more worthy, you can allow more great and more blessings into your life, I guess is how I'd say it. Yeah.
Absolutely. And when we value ourselves enough to know that sometimes we need to hire something out in
Mhm.
order to support ourselves, to be able to major on the things that's something I really had to learn because I'm like, I can do it all kind of person. But I realized that when I hired you, Kelly, it gives me that mental space to do the things that only I can do, to focus on those things that only I can do. And really in the process of that, I realize not only am I valuing myself better, I'm valuing those who I'm serving better, and I'm able to really actually have more earning potential. So to
Yeah.
hire somebody on for things that are gaps like that, that are taking your time,
Yeah.
that that will actually net you more money if you're willing to invest in somebody to support you in that way. And it seems like a backwards mindset. I need to make this much money before I'm going to hire somebody to do this task. But a lot of times it's, I need to hire somebody to do this so that I can have more earning
Yeah.
potential, right? And so it's
Yeah.
about saying, I have something really valuable to offer. My self worth is that much, right? And so I'm going to be able to focus completely on what I do best. And I'm going
Yeah.
to let somebody else who God created to do money naturally and hire them out. I'm like, naturally, and, and actually hire them to support us. It's the same thing with our own personal growth. If you hire somebody to support you and you make that investment before you try to launch out on some of these other things, if you do that heart work, if you do that mind work before you even embark on some of these things, you have more earning potential. So we
Yeah.
get it so backwards of like, I have to earn this much money to be able to afford to get support, to be afford to get a coach. But once you have all these things in alignment, it already increases that earning potential and it opens that flow of blessing. And so
Yeah.
I feel like, like what you're talking about today really is that lineup of positioning yourself to fully receive the blessing of God over your life by
Mhm.
really taking good care of your time, investing in yourself to get support, knowing your own worth of what you have to offer. It's all like such huge principles, right? And so yeah, that's amazing. So six awesome tips right there. Do you have any final words before we wrap up our training today?
Not, I don't think I have anything else to add except for to say that what you said there, like you wrapped it up with such a beautiful bow. And I think it really comes in trusting in your purpose, your God-given gifts, trusting in yourself and your worthiness. And then like, I can't say it better than you said it, so I'm not even going to try, but that was what was coming through for me, was just, there really is a trust in that. And that is part of that worthiness. We don't trust ourselves if we don't feel worthy. And so um, being willing to make an investment, knowing that that frees you up to be doing your purpose and to be doing the work that is really meaningful to you, and trusting in that bringing value to your life and blessing you, I think is really a way to look at it. So I just loved how you summed that up. And I see more than ever. I mean, I already knew we had an alignment in our work, and I see it more than ever now. So I really appreciate you sharing that in that way. And it really is there and available for all of us. And sometimes it takes work though. Like there's so many beliefs culturally and family and experience and current realities, that want to hold us in this space and keep us safe. And it takes chipping away at that and kind of getting maybe some support or doing the work and trying to get out of that. And there's real faith and trust that comes into play. But it's possible that, I guess that's where I want to leave it, is one of the things I love best about this work is that none of this is static. Like none of this, yes, we've got current realities. We can't ignore that. I can't, gaslight that, if you will. Like we have realities, but our mindset can change today. And it's through that transformation and willingness to do that that can open up to so much more. Because I can promise you, if you just focus on the realities and focus on the things that are not going right and just stay small, then you can't break out of that. It's in taking the steps and being willing to have that transformation and allow these things to happen that you can start to break out of that and change your reality. So I think that that's really a key piece, is whatever your mindset is today, it's changeable, and it's changeable immediately.
What an encouraging, powerful word, Kelly. That was amazing. And you're so right, because what I was hearing in my spirit was the time is now. This is a invitation. The time is now to really position yourself for your future. And so, let's just end with, hey, if you need a bookkeeper, which if you are an entrepreneur in this group, not all of us are, but quite a bit of us are, you need Kelly for your bookkeeper.
Thank
I
you.
cannot even tell you the difference that she has made, as far as how I am able to see and understand the numbers. And in order to be really good business leader, you have got to see and understand your numbers. And
Yep.
she is encouraging, and she's just heartfelt. I can't say enough good things about her. And if you want to work on some of these mindsets, the time is now. I want you to DM me. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about this stuff. It's this. You can increase your earning potential today. You can increase your potential to receive the blessings of God today, all by positioning yourself, changing your mindsets, creating a plan, and moving forward into your future. Why wait?
Yep.
Why wait?
100%
So
agree.
get a hold of us, get a hold of me. We are ready to help support you and lead you through a process that will bust open to your full potential. And so I'd love to talk to you. Kelly, make sure you put your info there for anyone who needs an awesome bookkeeper. And I'm telling you, I have run into people who are not awesome bookkeepers and accountants. So I know what a great one looks like. So I bless you guys. Remember, let's step fully into our identity, do life intentionally on purpose. That way we can be living in that God-given destiny like Kelly is. She's like, man, natural on that money. She's living in our God-given gifts. And it's just so sweet to see. And you can do that too. So I bless you, and you guys have a great week.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.